Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, navigating the human experience together.
Hafaday, Tiro, and welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and it's CNMI Humanities Month. Happy Humanities Month. And who better to talk about Humanities Month than the Northern Marianas Humanities Council? Joining us today is Executive Director Leo Pangelinan. Leo, happy Humanities Month.
Yeah, Viva Humanities.
Nice shirt. Tao armas el reformador.
Yeah.
Very appropriate. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm well. I'm happy to be on the air with Your Humanities Half Hour, and we'll get into that in a second, but maybe you can start us off. We always have this conversation every year with the Council during Humanities Month, just to remind people who we are and what we're all about. Who is the Northern Marianas Humanities Council?
Well, that's a great question. So, it is a nonprofit. It's a private nonprofit corporation here in the CNMI. It's 34 years old. It was spun off of mainly folks that were administrators and faculty of the college, the Northern Marianas College at the time. They saw an opportunity to affiliate with the National Endowment for the Humanities that was giving out grants to each state and territory in the nation for humanities councils willing and able to advance and promote the humanities in their local communities. And today, we have a mission to navigate and explore the human experiences of our diverse and indigenous communities by enriching their lives through research, publication, dialogue, and programs.
I kind of say the council is like the heart or the soul of the community when it comes to the programs it does. And it's so nice of you to mention, you know, the founding and who some of the founders were. But we had a bit of a scare here earlier this year when it suddenly seemed like the council may no longer be serving the community. What happened there, and how did we get to where we are today, which is back on the air?
Yeah, thanks, Catherine, for that. 6 months ago, we made a rather large announcement in our community that we had lost funding, all of our funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities. And that was a situation that was difficult to deal with. It happened in April of this year, I think April 2nd. We received that notice, and what that meant was that we could no longer draw down funds. And to deal with the situation, we went into a reduction in force mode. We had to lay off employees. We had to stop offering our programs. Basically, cutting back significantly only because we did not have the resource to be sustainable.
What percentage of the budget is funded through the NEH at that time?
I would say, on average, probably 93%. The 7% that we don't rely on from the National Endowment comes from our local community mainly through donations, cash and in-kind donations.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, part of the reason, I mean, it wasn't anything that we had done wrong to lose grant funds. It was part of a national shift in policy under President Trump's administration. As you know, he was elected into office last year, and he started his second term as our U.S. president in January. And he's always made known, even during his first term as president, that he wanted to close down the National Endowment for the Humanities, the National Endowment for the Arts, and other federal agencies that have been the lifeblood of protecting and promoting cultural heritages throughout the United States. So that action by the agency came directly from President Trump's initiative to at least reduce funding that was invested into the humanities. But also there was some repositioning of those funds to some initiatives that he wanted to do. Like, I think it's, for example, there's a Field of Heroes or Garden of Heroes initiative that Trump would like to come to fruition during his term, and he sees the National Endowment of the Humanities using its existing resources to take care of that initiative, which is really having statues in a park-like area of important historical figures that have shaped our nation.
So how is it that the council was able to, in a way, resurrect and reinstate some of your programs, reinstate this show?
Yeah.
What was the turnaround?
Well, you know, a lot of pushback occurred at the national level in terms of this decision by the NEH, the National Endowment for the Humanities, to cut funding to all humanities councils. And I feel that political pressure, as well as soon after a lawsuit that was filed against the agency, came to light that they restored a portion of funds that went to humanities councils, not 100%. Our partners in Washington estimate that from an appropriation of $65 million that's spread out across humanities councils nationwide, that figure for FY25 was reduced to $35 million. So, you know, that roughly equates to a little more than 50% in terms of a cut to grant funding resources for councils. So 2 months later, in June, they restored some funding. They notified us. Unfortunately for us, locally and other humanities councils, they had already implemented these cuts, laid off employees. We had done the same. We had to lay off 4 staff who were really like the lifeblood of, as you mentioned earlier, the programs, which is the core of what we do and how we engage in our community. And so after June, a couple weeks later, also as a result of national advocacy for investment in the humanities, the Mellon Foundation stepped forward, working with our Federation of State Humanities Councils. It's a membership advocacy group in Washington for state and territory councils. Mellon agreed to partner with them to distribute, I believe, $15 million across the nation to councils to just help stabilize their operations, so that to reduce the risk of councils having to shut down entirely. And some of those funds flowed to our local council in mid-June, and then through our network in Washington again and national partners, we were able to, the Pacific Island Humanities Councils, this is folks in Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, and ourselves, we were able to be introduced to the Henry Luce Foundation, which had a unique interest in our region and the Asian region in terms of their philanthropic mission. And someone who had a relationship with them pointed out that what had happened to us, and really advocated that our mission and goals as councils here, working with our community and revitalizing, preserving our cultural heritage, was very much aligned with their mission. And as a result, just last week, we received a grant from that foundation to be able to, again, extend our operations beyond the reduced funds we get from NEH, but also the looming uncertainty about what kind of appropriation will come to any federal agency
Yeah.
in this new fiscal year. And as you know, we're talking now during a federal shutdown. So where are we today? We're not fully made whole. That additional funding that has come in since those grants were terminated have allowed us to rehire some staff. This week we onboarded a communications and development director, which is a new position for us. We decided to strategically create a position like that to deal with the uncertainty of funding for our council. We really felt we needed someone who was dedicated to finding diverse and more sustainable funding streams for us to do the programming we feel we need to do for our community. But we're also trying to bring back a program staff to be able to manage some 12 programs we hope
Well,
to have
not
this
quite
year.
so many programs. The council.
Yeah.
Well, you were mentioning that one of the programs that has been kind of shelved or put on hiatus because of the budget situation right now is the community grants,
Yes.
correct? Where you give grants, sub-grants to projects that you deem appropriate in the community. So that's kind of on hold for now for people who may have been looking for that or considering a project for that. But you still have a number of projects that are moving forward. Some that even I wasn't really aware of, like something to do with the Tinian National Historic Landmark.
Yes.
What's that all about?
It's actually the Tinian Northfield, Ushi Field National Historic Landmark. So
okay.
we just kind of shorten it by saying the Tinian NHL.
True. Okay.
So yeah, that project is funded by the U.S. National Park Service. There's a American Battlefield Protection Program. So as the name suggests, there is funding available through that program to preserve historic sites where major U.S. battlefields have occurred, mainly on U.S. soil. Tinian is definitely, the Battle of Saipan. Tinian and the airfield and auxiliary units to support the mission of that airfield has been folded into the designation of being a National Historic Landmark back in 1984, I believe. Well, our partners in the community had come to our council 5 years ago, four and a half years ago, to inform us that that filing in 1984 is inaccurate. It doesn't include certain historic sites, and there's no protections for those sites. So we applied for that grant, we received it, and part of what we told the Park Service that we would do is to amend the historic landmark designation to incorporate
more of these features,
these historic sites in that area. And part of that project is also creating interpretive material, interpretive educational material, installing interpretive signs, creating a website, ensuring that the interpretive material is in our 3 official languages, so Chamorro, Carolinian, and English, as well as interpretive material that our visitors can connect with, like the major tourist markets that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great that there's more of the history of the island that could potentially be preserved through the Registry of National Historic Landmarks.
Yes.
Digital archiving is still ongoing for people that are interested. And there's a project that you and I had a hand in, something to do with going to Satawal.
Yes, yeah, our Satawal.
What's the status of
So we're calling it the Satawal Pool Documentary Film Project. So as you know, Catherine, we took a trip to Satawal Island in April of 2023, so a little more than 2 years ago now. We were invited to document a rare ceremony. It's more or less a rites of passage, sort of a graduation ceremony for navigators in the community, but something similar happens to the neighboring island community around our seafaring culture. It was a 4-day event leading to a 7-day event because it was right around Easter. And what happens is the entire community, as you know, is involved in supporting this ceremony. And there's specific cultural protocol involved. There's the passing down of knowledge. There's the recognition of mastery and those who have committed their lives to not just navigation and sailing, but other cultural practices that are integral to that, which is what we learned, going, at least for me, going down there and participating in that ceremony. There's, for example, master healers. On the canoe, on a voyage, you need a healer. You need someone who understands how to heal people, how not just their body ailments, but their spirit, their mind, to ensure that they remain focused on a very oftentimes risky voyage to go in search of food.
Physically demanding. Yeah.
Yes, physically demanding as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought a film crew there, and we brought the film footage back. We were blessed to have those that conducted the ceremony visit us in Saipan to help us with translations. And now we're at a point where we have much of the storyline together and the scripting down, and we're just kind of moving forward with editing to package what we hope would be at least a 45-minute documentary film.
Mm-hmm. And the primary audience for this is actually the people of Satawal, correct?
Correct, yeah. So
first audience.
The first audience, the primary audience.
Yes.
And so all the interviews we conducted with key people in the community was conducted in Sarawalese. So their responses, the questions may have been in English for the most part, but their responses are all in Sarawalese, which is why it was important and very fortuitous of us to have the Sarawalese community on Saipan, as well as those that visited us, really translate what that looks like. So the film will be shown. The audio will be in Sarawalese. All the narratives will be, the narration will be in Sarawalese, but there'll be subtitles so that English-speaking audiences can understand it as well. The secondary audience is really our Carolinian or Refalawash community here, because as you know, a great many of them here draw their roots from Sarawak and the neighboring islands. So this is very much part of the Carolinian culture here in the Mariana Islands. And there is some loss of that in our community. And with that, the language that goes with understanding the knowledge, the knowledge of seafaring. And so some of that will come to light in this film. And hopefully, ultimately, it helps to preserve that cultural heritage for generations to come.
Well, we're all looking forward to that, and I know there's a number of other programs that the council is still doing, and people can find that on the website if they would like. We're going to take a break and come back and talk about some other exciting projects. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right. We will be back after this break.
Looking for resources about Mariana's history, culture, and more? Well, check out the Northern Marianas Humanities Council's collection. Our extensive video, audio, and photographic library can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at 670 Humanities. Or check out the written resources on our website at nmhcouncil.org. And for those who prefer a good book, we also have a selection of local publications for purchase. So, dive in, explore, and share your comments as we navigate the human experience together.
Welcome back. We are chatting today with Executive Director Leo Pangelinan of the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. Leo, as I mentioned earlier, it's Humanities Month, and I know you've kind of had to condense your activities this year due to funding, but what do we have going on?
So we're going to kick off the month with CNMI Humanities Month proclamation signing ceremony. We're going to emphasize our partnership with the Office of the Governor this month, which includes the signing ceremony. So that really, kicks off for everybody in our community It casts a spotlight on the value of the humanities. And then we're going to close out the month with the Governor's Humanities Awards ceremony. So every year we put out a call to our community to ask them to nominate folks for one of 5 distinct awards. There's a recognition of those who teach in the humanities, who do research and publications, and who preserve our CNMI history and traditional cultural practices. And every once in a while, we'll recognize folks for a Lifetime Achievement Award in the humanities. That's those who have committed pretty much most of their life to one or more humanities disciplines.
I really love that part of the month, and I'm lucky because I get to interview all of them, as long as they're willing, and find out more, help our community learn more about their work and why they were nominated for this award. So looking forward to that at the end of the month. But there's another thing that you are involved in, and therefore the council, CNMI America250, is it committee or commission?
Commission.
Commission.
Yes.
Okay, what is this commission all about, and what are the plans?
Yeah, so I'm the chair of the CNMI America250 Commission. It's a commission that was established in 2024 by former Governor Palacios. And what this commission, its purpose is to commemorate and celebrate the founding of the United States, which next year, 2026, will have been 250 years. So on July 4th, 2026, that is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. But in this period leading up to that date, we will be celebrating as a Commonwealth the 50 years of having a covenant, a relationship, a self-governing relationship with the United States. And so this commission is also charged with catalyzing our community around reflecting on what that means, not just today in our present day, 50 years later, but we really want to engage our youth in thinking beyond 50 years. But also in connection to the larger 250-year history that we have as being part of America, we want our youth to think both globally and locally in terms of how these different histories intertwine in terms of shaping how we move forward as a community. So we have 3 distinct projects right now that the Commission has adopted. There's also national tentpole projects that the larger National America250 Commission is sort of encouraging us to do in our community. If we have time, I can talk about that, but I want to emphasize what we want to do here locally. I mentioned commemorating the covenant. So around that, we want to have what we're calling a Commonwealth Jubilee. So Covenant Day is on March 24th every year. Next year will be its 50th anniversary. We want to have a 3-day festival leading up to that holiday. Typically, we don't gather as a community to celebrate the covenant.
No, we go to the beach and barbecue.
Yeah. Or we have like messages that our leaders send out there, but we don't typically come together. So we want to change the culture around that.
Oh, okay.
Creating a festival, a new festival for our community that emphasizes our cultural heritage, emphasizes the American values and culture that we've integrated and adopted into our community. And then the 3rd day, really I'm thinking about this sequentially, but the 3rd day is thinking ahead.
Okay.
What can our relationship look like with the United States through the covenant?
Oh, so it's not just barbecue and music.
We'll have food.
Okay.
We'll have our local food.
But we'll be thinking while we're sharing food,
yes,
basically.
Thinking and reflecting, celebrating, coming together.
Okay, and what are the other 2 projects?
The other 2, so we want to have, again, to appeal to the youth, have them relate more to the covenant. We want to have a podcast. We want youth to sort of drive it and lead it and be the dominant voice in this podcast. Right now we're thinking about sort of centering topics that are loom large on our minds or have been controversial over the years, sections in the covenant agreement that has really impacted us, and ask youth to share their experiences that have some kind of relationship to the policy that is the covenant. And to have some folks in our community who are scholars in the covenant, maybe not scholars, but have an interest in it, be there to sort of talk about some of the ways to interpret the legal language in the covenant.
Break it down,
making
Yeah.
it more simple.
We like that.
And sort of finding a way for the youth to understand
How it
you have
applies
this
to them.
experience,
Yeah.
this is directly related to the covenant.
Okay.
And then also, again, to talk about beyond 50 years that we've experienced with the covenant, what would they like to see? The third project is something we'd like to do in the classroom, and that's history projects. We'd like to sort of adopt the model that we see with the science fair, but only have students work on history projects, exhibit that, and have the winners showcase their work at the Commonwealth Jubilee.
Wow, I kind of like that. That'll be interesting to see what the youth come up with.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we should plan for another chat about
Yeah.
these activities closer to the event and as things solidify.
That would be great.
And people can keep an ear out, keep an ear open until then for announcements and stuff like that, how they can participate.
Sounds good.
I wanted to ask you, what difference do you think the work of the council does in the lives of the people of our community?
Yeah, it's a big question. There's a lot of dimensions to the humanities. It's not just, and I'm still growing into my relationship with the humanities. Most people feel that it comes from academia, that it's the study of this, the study of that, history, anthropology, philosophy, ethics, and so on. There's like a laundry list of disciplines. But really, for us, I think here it's what we do, how we live our lives, how we socialize, the values that are important to us. It's our interactions. It's what makes us human. So, having said that, we do have some focus areas. We focused over the years, as far as I can see in the history of this council, on our cultural heritage, preserving that, communicating what that is, but also with that, our history. What is our history? Because I believe wisdom dictates that we have a good grounding and understanding of where we came from, right? In order to know who we are today.
Sounds like a Carolinian proverb.
Probably is.
It is.
And I'm sure most indigenous cultures can relate to that.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of history projects. We've supported a lot of history research. But not just that. When colleges do research, they create new knowledge. Humanities councils are expected to find ways to make that abstract academic information about who we are more public facing, more relatable to different communities. And we try to do a lot of work around that. We do our own studies. We invent and experiment with projects and programs that we feel can touch the lives of our community, can help promote critical thinking, critical dialogue about, again, those questions: who are we, where are we going, what do we want as a community? And I mean, and therein I think lies the impact. You know, I feel like if people think about the humanities and they're doing the humanities every day, most people just don't know it. And we come in to sort of put a spotlight on some of these areas that we think about and we do on a daily basis.
Now more than ever, the council needs community support, community engagement. how can we best support and engage with the council during these times?
Yeah, and when you say these times, it's a time of financial scarcity, not a lot of resources, right, flowing from the federal government, which we've come to depend and rely on heavily over the years. Think about what we do in terms of, I feel like we need to, as a people, invest more in our cultural heritage, our understanding our history, and engaging our youth in being critical thinkers and being more civically involved and engaging with each other. So, of course, financial support always helps. It will definitely help in these times where our funding from the federal government or these national philanthropic groups, they're feeling a lot more short-term. They're feeling a lot more conditional in terms of, if you take our money, you must align with our values or our policy direction. And that might not be where we want to grow in or invest in ourselves. So we need to think about doing that ourselves.
Well, I know it's been a short time today, but you're always welcome on your show, right?
Thank you.
Any final thoughts before we go?
Just that I'm really happy that you're still with us, Catherine.
Likewise.
As the host of this show. It's been, I want to say 15 years, close to it. Approaching 50 years. This is a very important aspect of our programming, and I know we've talked about it, but we don't often hear the stories that come to me as the executive director of just how impactful this show is. When we experienced those cuts early this year, we had to stop the show, and I had a number of people in our community ask me why. And that gave me an opportunity to learn just how often they watch the show, what are their interests in it. And I've also talked to our people who have moved off island and live in diasporas across the U.S. who say this is how they connect.
Wow.
They stay connected to our community to keep abreast of, it's not like watching the news. It gives our people a different understanding of the ebb and flow of life here that I think news coverage can't quite capture, because you share stories.
Yeah.
You get people to share their stories. And I just hope that in our community, more of us feel empowered to do that in this way, but in other ways to ensure that can be shared.
Well, thank you for your leadership, and we are looking forward to what is ahead, looking forward to A250 activities, and just want to say olomai, meheleso, situsmasi for everything you do for the council, Leo.
Thank you. Haugumas.
Haugumas.
Thank you.
Our guest today has been Executive Director Leo Pangelinan of the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. We want to thank you for being a part of this journey and for navigating the human experience together. This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour has been made possible in part by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Democracy demands wisdom. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities. For more information or to share your thoughts, contact the Northern Marianas Humanities Council at nmhcouncil.org or on social media at 670 Humanities. That's 670 Humanities.